So there's this one number, just a simple two-digit figure, that's managed to change how we build skyscrapers, how we plan flights, and even cost businesses hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a number that a whole lot of us are, kind of quietly, collectively afraid of.
Think about it for a second. You've probably seen this. You get into an elevator in some huge building, you're looking at the buttons, and you notice it just jumps from 12 to 14. Or you're on a plane walking down the aisle, and the seat rows go 11, 12, 14. Where'd 13 go?
Well, that's not a mistake. It's not some weird building code or a design flaw. It's a very deliberate choice. A decision made because of a superstition that's so powerful and so old, it has literally shaped the world we live in. And it has a name. A big one. Triskaidekaphobia. It sounds complicated, but it's really just from the Greek words triskaideka for 13 and phobia for fear. So today we are going to unpack exactly why this one number sends a shiver down so many spines. Okay, so first up, let's just see how deep this avoidance really runs. This isn't just a fleeting thought for a few people. It's practically built into the DNA of our modern world. I mean, the scale of this is just wild. We're talking about a reported 85% of early high-rises with elevators that just pretended the 13th floor didn't exist. Major airlines like Air France and Ryanair, they completely take out row 13 just to make passengers feel more comfortable. Even Winston Churchill, one of the toughest leaders in history, flat out refused to sit in row 13 of a theater. This fear is literally everywhere you look. So, the big question is, where did this all start? To really get a handle on the fear, we have to go back. I mean, way, way back, to some of the oldest stories we have. And this is where it gets really interesting, because you start to see a pattern, the dreaded 13th guest. In Norse mythology, picture this. 12 gods are having a great dinner party in Valhalla. Everything's fine. Then Loki, the god of mischief, crashes the party. He's the 13th guest, and his arrival directly leads to the death of Balder, the god of light. Now, does that sound familiar? Because in Christian tradition, there were 13 people at the Last Supper. And Judas, the one who betrayed Jesus, is often pointed to as that unlucky 13th person. Two totally different cultures, thousands of years apart, same basic story. 13 at a dinner table equals disaster. But the rabbit hole might go even deeper. If you look at the Code of Hammurabi, one of the oldest written legal codes ever found, it lists out all its laws numerically. 1, 2, 3. But it mysteriously skips number 13. Now, was that just a typo from thousands of years ago, or is it a sign that this uneasiness with the number is truly ancient? All right, let's fast forward and see how this ancient fear has had some very real and sometimes incredibly dramatic consequences in our own time. You absolutely cannot talk about the number 13 without talking about Apollo 13. I mean, just look at the numbers. The mission launched at 1313 military time. And the famous catastrophic explosion that led to the line, "Houston, we have a problem," it happened on April 13th. Now, the crew's survival is one of the most heroic stories in human history, for sure. But for a world already spooked by the number, this string of coincidences was all the proof they needed. And then you get these personal stories that are just, wow, almost too strange to believe. The composer Arnold Schoenberg had a crippling, lifelong fear of the number 13. He actively avoided it in every way he could. And in a twist that is just profoundly tragic and ironic, he died on Friday, July 13th. Get this, he was 76 years old, and if you add 7 and 6 together, yup, you get 13. Beyond these individual stories, this fear has a huge economic footprint. It's estimated that more than $800 million in business is lost every single time a Friday the 13th rolls around. Why? Because people actually change their behavior. They avoid traveling, they put off buying a car, they won't close on a house. That's a massive price to pay for a superstition. Okay, so we've seen the impact, we've seen the history, but why? Why this specific number? What is it about 13 that has such a powerful grip on our minds? Well, psychologically, a big part of it starts with our love for the number 12. 12 just feels complete, right? We have 12 months in a year, 12 hours on a clock, 12 signs of the zodiac. It's neat, it's tidy, it's whole. And then along comes 13. It messes up that perfection. It's an awkward prime number. It just feels irregular, like an unwelcome guest at the perfect party of 12. And this is what creates a kind of psychological feedback loop that keeps the whole thing going.
First, our brains are literally wired to find patterns in everything, even in random chance. Second, we naturally prefer things that are familiar, like the number 12, which we see everywhere. And third, and this is the big one, confirmation bias kicks in. So, when something bad happens on the 13th, our brain goes, "See, I knew it," and we remember it. But we completely forget all the perfectly normal, boring 13ths that have passed by. That loop is what lets those ancient stories stay so powerful today. But here is the major twist in this whole story. This global fear of the number 13, well, it isn't actually global at all. For millions of people and for entire cultures, 13 isn't just okay. It's actually considered incredibly lucky. Just take a look at this. In Italy, 13 is a lucky number. The number they avoid is 17. In a lot of China, the unlucky number is 4, because the way you say it sounds a lot like the word for death. 13, on the other hand, is considered fortunate. This right here proves that the fear isn't baked into the number itself. It's all about the cultural story we've been told. And there are plenty of people and cultures that champion the number. Taylor Swift, for one, famously claims 13 as her lucky number. The ancient Egyptians saw it as the symbol of a glorious afterlife, the 13th and final stage of life's journey. In Sikhism, the word for 13 in Punjabi, Tera, also happens to mean, "I am yours, my lord." And of course, who doesn't love a baker's dozen? That extra 13th donut is thrown in for good luck and good measure. And really, that's what this all boils down to, isn't it? 13 is just a number. It doesn't have any magical inherent power. All of its power, whether we see it as good or bad, comes from us. It comes from the stories, the myths, and the legends we've decided to tell about it and pass down through generations. So that kind of leaves us with one final pretty big question. If a simple number can have this much influence on our world, from the way we design buildings to the days we decide it's safer to just stay home, what other invisible stories, what other inherited fears are quietly shaping our lives right now without us even realizing it?